righty, everyone. Welcome back to J3U After Hours. Alex, how are you doing today, sir?
We are alive and well, Chris. Travel sickness always. It's show days. Just shaking hands, kissing babies. You get the little bug, right?
Yeah, you're just a little sleep deprived and food deprived and fucking immune system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's great. But anything to do for our clients, I knew, like me and you talked about, I knew on the drive back, man. I was getting sick. So Sunday, Monday, I just rested and just worked, just rest and work and 10,000 supplements. I'm feeling better today, so we're good. Today's Wednesday.
Yeah, dude. Last week when I got sick, because obviously I was like, I have to not be sick by Night of Champions weekend. I was doing 8,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 8,000 milligrams of elderberry, 10,000 units of vitamin D, 400 milligrams of glutathione, 3 servings of Dayquil, and 2 servings of NyQuil. Because I was like, I'm speed running recovery.
Yeah.
I felt good up until I got back home and I was like, no, I feel like shit again. But
yeah. It was just masking it with caffeine and vitamins. Yeah.
Dude, it was that and gaslighting. That's how I got through it for sure.
I take it's like Immuno Z. It's like zinc lozenges. They're really helpful. Honestly, took some trend. It was like, let's see if this fixes it. I feel like that can combat a lot.
Do you remember during COVID when there was a conspiracy that trend could cure COVID?
I would be willing to take that bet. I would looking back, I would have much rather taken trend than a the vaccine.
Yeah.
I would have much rather taken trend.
At least it gets you jacked,
Yeah.
just a mild state of psychosis, but it's fine. Well, I guess we'll hop into recapping the weekend. You want to go first?
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Both had some good placings. So I had Candace. She did the Masters 35 and open bikini. We got fifth in the Masters 35. It was a interesting decision, but a decision nonetheless. And we got second in the open class to the overall winner. Overall winner looked great. It was one of those, man. Like I knew something. I knew they didn't like us in the Masters 35 when they moved us on the end, and let's say this, there was like 13 or 15 girls in Masters 35. It's like being fifth is like obviously it's very respectful, because Candace is like really good. But the thing with the Masters lineup is like they were all from different height classes, and Candace is like the tallest height class. She's like the biggest one up there. So you could just tell, like, while I loved the look, Candace loved the look. As soon as you get moved to the end on the call out, it's like, okay, there's something they don't like. Whether we agree with it or not, it's just like, okay, like that's not the trend that they're looking for. So like I kind of knew it was going to be a long day from that. Obviously I've got I'm very confident in Candace's physique. I'm very happy with it. There's nothing that we could have done differently peak week, anything like that to have changed the result. It just wasn't the look they were going for. I'm going to do a little different things going into nationals in 5 weeks. And very similar situations happened to us last year. We got fourth at our regional. We were already qualified, but and then we went on and got third at nationals. So it's like doesn't really make sense, like on paper, how that can happen, but it does. And so it was something we just go on with it. And then Chris, my classic guy, he fell short. He got second in the open. He is 37. I wish he would have done the Masters 35 as well.
For sure.
Would have won that, but yeah, it was just a little like lower half development thing. Peak went really good with him. I felt he was bang on. He was nice and full, great muscle bellies. The guy we got beat by was a little more complete, top to bottom. And that show was huge. Like the show had 200 bodies.
It's a
Yeah.
long fucking day, bro.
Yeah. Tell us how your side of the fence went.
Well, so Friday I had my client in Toronto, Jonathan. He did the King Kong Classic. Don't know where he placed, so that's really cool. I'm not going to bash Canadian shows, but they confused me. I did a call with him yesterday, and we were both very confused because, obviously I didn't anticipate us winning per se because he was, 12 pounds under his weight cap. But I was, incredibly proud of the package we pulled off in 8 weeks, and the peak itself. I think I think it was probably one of the best peaks I've ever had in my career. But they just did some weird stuff there for finals. They only did top 3. They didn't give placings out to the remaining guys. There were 11 dudes in his light heavyweight class. Individual routine presentations, he only got to hit 2 poses. So he had like 10 to 15 seconds on stage is what he told me. And he had to pay for judges' feedback. So I already told him what we need to improve. I told him well ahead of it. I was like, we need to bring up our arms. We need to bring up chest, shoulders. Continue to master waist control and keep our waist tight in this improvement season. So that's a little bit weird, but he's elated with how he did. I'm very happy with the look. I would just like to have more concrete, objectivity just to have for me as a coach, right? I think for him as the athlete, I think it's the very least he deserves. I just think paying for feedback is asinine to say the least. And then Night of Champions, I had my 3 rolling in. So I had Rainey, my master's guy. He got 4th and 5th in his master's classes. Was very happy with that. I told him, I was like, man, we're bringing a better look than the 2 shows you've done this year. Where we land is where we land. There were 9 fucking dudes in masters. And I was like, bro, this is unnecessarily stacked. I'm used to being 3 dudes and 2 of them don't have tans on. And then Daniel, my men's physique guy, his debut in competing. We've been working together for 7 months, and he took 1st in true novice, 3rd in novice, and then 3rd in open, which when we saw the dude in novice walk out, I was like, that's Ryan fucking Terry, bro. I thought that dude was going to win the whole fucking show. I don't know how he didn't.
Yeah.
The 3rd place in open kind of surprised both of us, but at the end of the day, I told him, man, we've not had a lot of time together, and I wanted you at minimum first call out, ideally top 3. That means we know where we belong. We got a lot of data in figuring out how to fill this guy out because he can eat an ungodly amount of food. So I was very happy with that. And then Carly Lewis, who I nearly cried when she was on stage. I've been working with Carly for 2 years now, and for the longest time, I thought she hated me because she just didn't talk and at all. And then I was like, well, maybe she's scared of me. And I don't think so. She's just a quiet, even-keeled person. There's not been a single moment of panic during this prep. If anything, it's me panicking for her because she just shoulder shrugs everything.
Yeah.
And she ended up winning true novice overall, open, and then lost in the overall to a fucking monster who I think she won Memphis, Tennessee State, and something else this year. I think she said it's her 4th overall for the year. And I was like, when I came backstage and gave Carly a hug, she's like, I'm just happy I got a backpack. She's like, I wasn't fucking beating that. And I was like, as long as we're on the same page, it's just, overall, I'm very, very happy with where they landed because, again, the point that I made to both of them when we started this prep was I'm not going to put you in a rinky-dink bit show just to go take a win. If we're going to go win something, we're going to earn it. And I want us to stand against motherfuckers that matter. And I think they did just that, So now we have 2 of them, Carly and Daniel, rolling into Iron City this weekend. I've definitely figured out a lot with Daniel's peak, as we saw with the pictures I sent you before this. Hopefully we can go run it back there and hurt some feelings.
Yeah, dude, I'll say this. So and this was one of the coolest things. I knew the show was a big show for you. And it's kind of why, again, obviously it's a big show for me. Candace is awesome. But Candace's big dances at nationals. But a lot of what I just remember watching Carly win and dude, I was about to start crying for you because I was like, God, I'm being emotional. But in that moment, man, I didn't care how my I kind of knew my fate. right? Like I kind of knew like I wasn't winning that day, but I was like, I didn't care. I was like, man, I was so happy for you. And it made me think back to earlier this year at the Vulcan, where I was like, I lost and you freaking cleaned house. And dude, I was a shitty friend. Like I remember like I came over after the show and was like, after I'd like stormed off for a minute, I was just like mad. I was like, hey bro, like, I'm sorry, like you just totally won. And I was just being an asshole. And like it was weird. It was a great feeling at this show. It wasn't even like I was trying to like put on a good show. Like I was genuinely like, hell yeah, like Chris got it. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older, but like that was awesome to see, man.
Thank you, man. I think, and dude, going back to the Vulcan thing, first of all, that play call was fucking bullshit. You had every right to be pissed off. I was pissed off for you, man. Like that was like Riley looked. She's the epitome of bikini. Whatever. It's beside the point. We just lose to fat girls sometimes, I guess. It's fine. but no, man, it was cool. And I remember, like, dude, that was during that year or that season. You're like, I don't even know if you'd had an overall yet. Granted, you hadn't even really had any shows yet. And I was like, dude, you're gonna fucking lap me. Yeah. And then he lapped me in like 2 months. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but at the time, yeah, I did it, and I was like, fuck. I was like, oh, I was supposed to have one too, and like, but it's cool. Like, I don't know, man. I felt genuinely like, I don't know. It was good. Like I wanted that win for you like so bad because it's Carly, right? And we were like, since you won, we were like Carly fucking Lewis, like let's go.
Yeah, man.
But and so I do want to say like something. I don't think I think there's some confusion maybe with some people. Like people think that you're under me. Like people think that like, which, okay, yeah, like you got hired onto the same team that I worked with. And so like, yeah, I guess doing math, it would make sense. But like Chris is not under me. Like he doesn't report to me. He doesn't like, I tell him things, asking when he asks me as a friend and like as someone I'm sure looks up to as a coach, but like we're the same like group. Like we're all J3U coaches. Like there's no pecking order. Like I have my path and what I'm doing for Luke and John, just how Chris does, just how Colton, Jamie, everybody. So I just want to make that clear because somebody had asked at the show and I was like, no, like Chris is Chris, like not his boss, not his dad. Like
Which like from the outside eye, I can definitely understand that perspective. And like in a lot of ways, I mean, dude, again, we've talked about before, like you have helped me exponentially as a coach, especially like when we first met. And I like was still, dude, I didn't know how to peak yet. Right. And like now it's to the point where like even yesterday, like I texted you and I was like, hey, these are my thoughts on like what I want to do with Carly for the next 2 days. And you're like, I would do the same thing. Like I've obviously learned extensively from you and I still do. But yeah, I'm not like Alex's assistant.
Yeah.
We're very much a package deal, much like this podcast. We kind of just do fucking everything together. Because it's a lot more fun that way too. Because again, it's like we have it's not like Alex needs another set of eyes at these shows, but it's what we're here for, and that's why I like what we're doing as a team, because it's like I messaged Colton yesterday with a peptide question because I know he knows those better than we do. And you can go to Luke or John or whoever. And like, there's this like symbiosis between all of us as coaches, because we all have different specialties and different fields of expertise in this. And so we can kind of like lean on the next person to like gain what we need and vice versa. But yeah, man, it was a cool show. It was fucking long. I did like the way they ran it, where they did all men's division first, then women's. Also shout out to Ty for being the biggest fucking human on that stage.
Of freaking Trey.
Trey, excuse me. Yeah. I wanted to see, yeah, dude. Trey was a man among boys up there. That was fucking nuts to see it. Like, dude, I went to the gym like yesterday, and there was a guy that he actually listens to the Shout Out Tanner, but he came up to me and he was like, that guy was so fucking huge. And I was like, yeah, I could have told you he was winning when he had his clothes on.
Yeah. Like, dude, he was a mutant, man. It was good to see him back. He hadn't competed in like 2 years. It was really good to see him back. But yeah, Night of Champions, man, it was great. The lighting was great. Backdrop was great. I mean, it is a long show, but it is you got a lot of people, and it's just part of it. But they started at 3. Alan and Becca do a great job promoting it. People go to Tennessee to compete, man.
Yeah. I think Battle and Night of Champions are 2 of the most competitive shows in the South. That's why I told Alan, I was like, that's why I bring people here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think too why it didn't feel big in the moment was because of how they organized it and telling the women when they needed to show up for prejudging, and same for finals. So usually, we go backstage and it's like all 200 people are already back there camped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we get there, it was just dudes backstage for prejudging, like 2/3 of the way through. After most of them had left, the girls started coming in. I think that is how shows should be operated when there's that many bodies backstage, right?
Yeah.
So shout out
it was basically like every 30 minutes they were telling a class to show up.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah, it was way better. And giving the girls more time to do their makeup, even though dude Carly, bro, her makeup time was 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm. That's no. No.
Yes, like I had to put her, I was still feeding her and I had to put her to bed at 10. And I'm like, all right, see you in 4 hours. Like,
that's one thing. I don't know. Luckily, Candace used Misty because Misty was there. I should have just I should have just told you that. Because it's makeup, which I don't know how you get around it, right? You got 100-something girls doing the show. There's probably 5 artists. Like, you probably got to start that early. But for us as coaches, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, she told me it took 2 hours to do it. So it's like that's 200 hours of makeup between 5 women. That's absurd. I'll definitely have to hit up Misty next time. She's the GOAT. It was cool, man. But we'll move into our first very crucial question of the day. Fuck, marry, kill, pizza, burger, burritos.
The reality is I don't ever eat pizza.
Same.
I love pizza. I would love to eat pizza every weekend, but just my stomach I couldn't do it. So I'm gonna marry cheeseburgers. I'm gonna fuck burritos. I'm gonna kill pizza.
I'm on the same page, dude. A burger will never do me wrong. Burritos, I like occasionally. Like I'm not like a big, like whenever I'm thinking of food I want to eat, it's Mexican food generally does not fall into my primary, secondary, or tertiary goal. But I'll get down with a burrito here and there. And then pizza, I'm the same way, man. My issue is like I enjoy pizza. It's kind of like the same thing we talk about when like you go eat 4,000 calories and then get a diet soda. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, I'll eat a burger, fries, and ice cream. That's deemed acceptable in my head. But if I eat pizza, I'm like, oh, I'm fat.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, oh, I'm disgusting. I don't know what it is. Is it all the cheese and the bread? I don't know.
And there's like no other, like, dude, if there's meat on it, it's 2.5 ounces spread throughout. Like, and then my stomach gets fucked, dude. Like that is the one meal where like my lactose intolerance is just like.
Yeah, I feel gross eating pizza. Yeah. Like I just don't, and I hate it because I love pizza. Mm-hmm. But like, I could eat a whole large, just no problem.
Yeah.
But like, maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's not the pizza; it's the amount that I eat.
Well, dude, that's because it's like I'm not getting a medium, and if I'm buying it and it's here, I'm eating it. So it's there's just like less control in that scenario. But okay, we'll ask this too: does pineapple belong on pizza?
Okay, so I get if I'm like enjoying pizza, I'll get half of the pizza Italian sausage and the other half pepperoni and pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
A good mix. I couldn't do the whole pizza with pineapple, but it interchanges the palate, so I can't eat the whole thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think pineapple does belong on pizza. It needs to have something in conjunction with it. So either pepperoni or like jalapeno or banana peppers. Like we need balance here, but I'm for sure going pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, I think people like that debate. Just it gives them something to talk about.
Mhm.
It's like people getting mad at Sydney Sweeney about the Good Genes ad. You're just bored. Like
Yeah.
find something else to be mad at.
Anything fucking else to be offended by, please, other than Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
The next one, and this one's significantly harder for me. Fuck, marry, kill, apple pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie.
I'm killing pumpkin pie.
Yep.
Marrying apple pie. No, marrying pecan pie and fucking apple pie. Because with apple pie, I need ice cream with it.
100%.
Pecan pie, I don't have it. I don't have to have it.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm killing pumpkin pie. I'm going to have to marry apple pie because my mother's apple pie is the greatest thing on this planet. I'll fuck around with the pecan pie because here's the other thought. This is how my fat head works. I have eaten an entire apple pie for my mother in one sitting.
Yeah.
No question. Post show junior nationals, I did that. Pecan pie, I don't know that I can eat a whole one in one sitting.
It's so rich.
So rich.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the quality of an apple pie is probably better too. Like you get the baked crust and stuff. Yeah, that's interesting. I think because you're thinking of your mom's, I'm thinking of my grandmom's like pecan pie. So
For sure. For sure. Well, there has to be there has to be bias in that case. Shifting focus now to get all the fat shit out of the way. What's your favorite diet meal?
So it's not something I eat much now, but there's two. It would be tuna steak and rice
Mm-hmm.
with soy sauce. It
Yep.
was always so easy to get down.
Mm-hmm.
And then tilapia and mashed sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
That was more of like a off-season meal because it was just like you could just literally turn it into mush and shovel.
Mm-hmm.
And so my biggest issue with putting on size was like just my stomach. Like I just couldn't stomach a lot of food. I would eat a lot, but I would need to eat a lot, and so that was the easiest way to get it down.
Mm-hmm. Mine's for sure tuna steak. That's what I lived off of for this whole prep was tuna steak, mushrooms, and when I had rice, thanks Alex, rice for sure.
Dude, you would like sear your tuna. It like looked good.
Oh yeah,
Like fillet it on a plate.
yeah, dude. If you go to Sam's Club, you could get like I think it was a pack of 6 of them. They were fresh. They were never frozen. It's like $40. They were always like 6 to 8 ounces a piece, so it mapped out perfectly. And dude, I had like a whole. Actually, I'm gonna give you guys a pro tip. I'm gonna put you on game. If you're cooking shrimp or you're cooking fish, you have to do it this way. Especially, we'll start with shrimp. If it's frozen, thaw that shit out, and then let it dry in I would literally wrap it up in a bunch of paper towels and dry it out as much as I possibly could. And then you put a frying pan, obviously non-stick olive oil, medium high heat. Throw that shit in. You let it go until it is the top. So like obviously bottom layer is the one frying, top layer is almost completely done. Then you flip it once. That shit will taste the best it ever has. It like removes all the fishiness from it. I convinced myself it was hibachi at one point. But I do the same thing with tuna steaks.
Yeah. It's got that char on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, tuna steaks I would rinse off, pat dry, salt them, let them sit, pat dry again to pull off the last bit of moisture, super hot pan, sear the shit out of them, pull them off, yellow mustard. God is good. It was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, and like you do have to like watch like mercury intake and all that, but like all the other drugs we're taking. So like,
Do they all probably have mercury in them too? It's fine.
I think one fish tuna steak meal a day during prep's fine.
Yeah, I remember one time this guy like responded to one of my stories about artificial sweeteners, and I was like, this is not even the worst of what I've done today, let alone in my life. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's ignorant. If a genie granted you 3 wishes, what would they be?
That's so in depth.
Yeah.
What's your first one?
A new car would be sick.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. There's okay. I got it. Hang on. I saved it. It's a Ferrari. A Ferrari SF90 Darth Vader edition.
Ooh.
Yep. That would be the first wish. Second wish would be, I mean, can you just ask for like billions of dollars? Like,
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, I've done like unlimited money.
Yeah.
I would want to. I kind of would want to like stay around this age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of would not. I don't want to say I don't want to die, but like, yeah, I feel like if I could stay around this age, I would like that. Or maybe like just even looking this age
Mm.
as I got older, but then it may be a little weird and be 80 looking how I do now. But yeah, I would say just stay this age.
Yeah. I think that's a good one. I would say, vehicle wise, do that wagon. I sent you the purple one for sure.
Yeah, that was clean.
That thing was sick. Unlimited money sounds cool. Just so we just do all of what we're already doing, just for even more fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't want to live forever. Don't want to live forever, because the more I think about it, like that actually sounds kind of not horrible in a sense, but like the reality of like watching, because then you have to watch the world end. You know what I'm saying? If you live forever, but
Yeah.
kind of the same vein. If I could just be like, if I could be late 20s, early 30s, and not have stomach ulcers and all the things that make me feel old for like another decade of my life, that'd be kind of sick.
Yeah. 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 If I could just ride this out a little longer, like that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Or just like, redact all of the mistakes I've made in my 20s. That's actually what I would wish for.
I was literally thinking a way to undo time.
Yeah.
Like go back and like do things different.
Yeah, that's what I would say for sure. That would be my first wish. The other ones to follow. How are you so cool?
Well, my mom was like very Southern Baptist, like singing in the choir.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad was like pretty boy and then eventually turned drug dealer, drug user. So it was just a very blend of that.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, like I would go see my dad like every other weekend, and I would listen to Tupac's Hail Mary and Nelly, like Nellyville and Country Grammar. And I'd be like 5. And I was quoting Mortal Kombat at like 5, watching Chucky movies. And then with my mom, like I couldn't watch wrestling and we were listening to Reba McEntire. So I think the constant like fire and ice growing up with them back and forth. And then just being launched into fend for yourself at 16. You kind of you just start adapting to what is around you. And around me was MMA fighters and bodybuilders. And yeah, I guess here I am.
Hell yeah.
What about you? How are you so cool, Chris?
Well, I don't think I'm cool. That's the thing. I just think I'm, like I live in my own little world of complete obliviousness. That's how it's always been. Like I was very much like I have an older brother, but we never really had a super close relationship. And I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up. And so I was just very much like to myself all the time. I was like bullied a lot in like elementary school, middle school, and then to high school as well. So I very much just like literally just learned to like be who I am and what I am and by myself with that. I tell people all the time, like, it's not a joke. This is like my social interaction for today. Shows are my social interaction for the week. Or like team lifts, shit like that. Otherwise, dude, I sit in this exact spot at my desk and I watch TV and I work, and then I get done with work and I like play with Legos and shit.
Yeah.
Like I live a very solitude life by nature. And I just don't think to do things like, I don't know. I dress the way that I dress. I talk the way that I talk. I do the way that I do. Some people think it's cool. Some people really don't fuck with it. I don't really care because like I've moved out of that chapter of life where I felt that I had to be a certain way to appeal to particular people that I don't give a shit about, that don't give a shit about me at the end of the day. So I don't think I'm cool. I'm Chris. Fucking hell.
No, and dude, I was so that's something I wanted to touch on. Like, you were probably the same way. Like growing up, man, I listened to like obviously Slim Shady, like every troubled white boy growing up.
Yep.
But then like I liked Allen Iversons and Dennis Rodmans and the Terrell Owens, the loud, like Stone Cold Steve Austin's, like the anti-hero people. I always had like this like fascination with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of how I like, dude, a lot of my like stuff in high school, like I have very rare photos of me. 90% of the time I'm flicking the camera off. I just was uncomfortable. Like I didn't fit in with a lot of, like I had friends, but I didn't fit in with a lot of their like living and upbringing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the more I'm like you, I used to be afraid like to be myself until I wasn't. That's when like the more, especially, you know, the last couple years, like a social media obviously takes off. Like I am just me. And people are like, oh, like in a funny way, that, oh, you know, he's aura farming, he's this, that, and the other. Like, no, like I have like cryptic images back on my phone from like 2016. Like I would just post them myself, or I would, you know, or I would post like statuses on like Facebook when I was like 8th grade, 9th grade. They were always like song lyrics, and people were like, oh, like Alex is a little like crazy. He's kind of like weird. But now, like I just do it now, and people are like, oh, that's so cool. He said that, like, you know, and it's like I didn't change. I just was like you said, like I'm just me, and I think people see that like you're not trying to be anything different. You're just yourself. And I think that's an attractive trait that because so many people aren't themselves.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good point, man. Cause like I was the same way, dude. I was a mean kid. I just had like I just didn't understand a lot of things. I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. I think the other thing too is like I grew up really fat. I had to kind of learn to be fucking funny. Like I got my ass handed to me enough where I had to learn how to make jokes to save myself. You know what I mean? And I just was inadvertently doing all this for myself before I knew that I was, like, as far as pursuing bodybuilding, pursuing all these different things. Like I've used the analogy before on this podcast, but it's like the way that I view my life is it's like I'm talking to this wall beside me, and I turn around and there are people who want to listen to it too. I'm like, holy shit, right? Like it still to this day gets me. Like when we have people come up to us or individually at shows or wherever, like, dude, I listen to your podcast. I love it. Like to this day, it blows my mind. I get sweaty every fucking time. I promise you. You can check if you want. Because like I have a very interesting perception of life and how people perceive me. And that I think I go unnoticed everywhere I go because I went unnoticed for 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
Right. Where like I could like say or do whatever the fuck because it didn't matter because nobody was paying attention to me. Yeah. And now it's like, lo and behold, people pay attention, but like that feeling still hasn't left necessarily. And I don't want it to because like those words mean the world to me. Like hand to God, like it means everything to me when people have these things to say about what we do. But like I've been doing this shit like the same way for a long time. It's just now people care to notice. That's cool. But it doesn't like motivate me or make me want to change or do anything differently because I just don't think that. I just do what I fucking do. I don't know what that is. Yeah. And some people think it's cool and a lot of people don't. And I just don't. It's like we both of us have enough on our plate where I don't have a a forward-thinking thought about that anymore. But I used to be that kid, dude. Like I would be the kid like hyper analyzing everything that I did because it was always scrutinized.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, y'all can be mean to me. I'm meaner to myself. I fucking promise you. It's cool at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dude, yeah, I had a guy came up he's a competitor. He came up at the show and was like, introduced himself. He's like, man, like, not to sound weird, but you're like a celebrity to me. And I was like so flattered. And he was flattered that I saw his story, not only saw his story, but paid attention to like he had to move divisions and he moved up and he won. I was like, yeah, man, like I saw you did really good. He's like, you saw that? I was like, yeah, dude. Like I do pay attention, you know. Or like I was walking and dude, like I was not like I was in fucking sweats. Like I was very like chill vibes this weekend. And I was just walking back to my seat, and this girl was like, "Are you Alex Ball?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" She's, "Oh, like, followed you. Need help with leaving a coach and looking for another one." And I was like, "Oh, sweet." Like, but I think that's the thing about us is we are so just genuinely us that like people catch on to it, and we don't have to try, and it's just like, yeah, this is who we are.
Yeah, like if you compliment me, you're always going to hear the same response, which is I'm just a dude, because I'm just a dude.
Yeah.
Like, I've just done this for a long time and
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at it. And I don't know, I'm just a dude. I don't know. I was raised in a home where humility was ingrained in me before I could know anything else other than that. Right. It's like while we see like on social media, right, like there's ego, there's whatever, right, that exists in what I post. Those are just like, I'm telling you, that is a singular moment that I feel that, and that's why I choose to share it. That doesn't exist. And Alex is probably the first person who can attest to that. That does not exist the other 23 hours of the fucking day.
Yeah.
It's not there, right? That's just a persona. That's this moment, whatever. And like show weekends are when that comes out. That's when I want it to come out. And that's why, and I also for my athletes, I want them to know like, oh, fucking Chris is on it today. Like, like the morning of the show, we had Mob Deep playing on the TV, and I was just fucking pacing back and forth because like this is what this I got to deliver. Like this is what I have to fucking do. But outside of that, I am not. This is what I am, right? I sit in my fucking living room all fucking day. I drive. I leave my house a maximum of 2 times a day. The gym is 9 minutes down the street. I go to the gym. I stop by Starbucks. I stop by Publix. I come home, and that is it. Like I don't. But people think it's cool. I'm like, dude, it's not. Like I've had my dad over and over like, you need to start a YouTube channel. I'm like, dude, I don't do anything notable to post about. I don't care, and I also don't think I'm special enough to post about, anyways. When it comes to that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. Every time before I post something, I'm like, nobody's gonna like this.
Dude, same.
I'm like, oh yeah, so this one's gonna, or one will take off. And I just got lucky. Like I don't know. I don't really. I don't know. I guess that's what people like about us is we're just, I don't know. We're like everyone else.
Yeah. Same people, man. You aren't supposed to. Like, and I love when people come up to us, man. Like, I had a dude come up and ask to get a picture with me, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, for sure. I don't. If you want a picture with me, I guess. Like, it means a lot. But like, I'm just Chris. At the end of the day, yeah, it never gets old. I never want it to. I don't think it ever could at this point in my life. But if you lived in any time era, which one would it be, and what role would you be?
I watched a few things on the Mob last week. It's like the 70s, 80s. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be like, I would definitely want to be a captain. I wouldn't want to be like an underboss or a boss that there's like a lot of pressure. I would definitely want to be in the Mob for sure. Or if we're going like way back, just go back to like the Jurassic period and just be a velociraptor. That's what it'd be.
Alex is just running around like this.
I think it's pretty much
the duality of that is incredible. That it is a good question, man, because it's like it's hard to answer. Oh, it's tough. I'm staring at my Funko Pops right now. It's another thing because I'm just so cool, guys. I collect those. Dude, I just go back to like Peaky Blinders, like that era.
Yeah.
20s, like Europe, like that type of vibe. I just think that I'm like so fascinated with that history, that part of history of like just like the industrial era or revolution in a sense, because I think, dude, like I love watches. I don't collect them, but I used to work in jewelry, and like just the sheer amount of technology that somebody pulled out of their ass. Or like, here's one. How does a I think about this a lot when I smoke weed. How does a fucking camera work? And how did somebody come up with that? Like,
Yeah.
shit that like I spend a lot of time pondering is that time of the world. And like, can you imagine, dude, just like one day you're like, yo, camera just dropped. Like that's the fucking thing, you know?
The size of a TV.
Yeah, for sure. And it takes like 2 days to develop a picture.
Yeah.
It's like running, like dip it and do all these other things. That would be the time of life that I'd want to live in outside of all of the, terrible things that were also going on in the world.
Yeah. I think like the gladiator times would have been fun. Something like if we're look, if I'm going like no AC, no electricity, send me back. Like
yeah.
full send me back.
Do I just go way back then?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question because then you look at like, I mean, technically, if we're talking like the best track to success, it's like post World War II being in your mid 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Economically, like everything that was going on as far as developmentally, like we see where the boomers are at now financially. We'll never have that shit. I'd say that. If you could change any 3 perceptions of bodybuilding, what would they be? I think the one that I stick out, and this is something I was talking to one of my first time competitors, her boyfriend, about, which fortunately, I wonderful dude. I loved how supportive he was of her. I think in seeing great partners like that, it also makes me think about the not so great ones who are narrow-minded. If it's like a male partner, female partner competing, is the perception of like sexualization and what's being put on stage. That would be like number one, first and foremost.
Dude, yeah. I've sat at shows, man, and like my girls will be hitting their back shot or something, and you hear like whispers behind you or like cat calling or whistle blowing, and it's like, dude, like if you only knew, they would eat your face off. And the last thing they're thinking about is anything sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I think another one is that this is healthy. I think that's a huge misconception. I think now we're in the age, like there's a way to do it as healthy as possible. But so many people now come to us and like, well, I just need to stay healthy and I can't have side effects and I need to have this and I need to have this. It's like, hey, or you'll be dieting them and like, well, my calories are too low. And it's like, yeah, like for what a registered dietitian is going to tell you and what your doctor's going to tell you, and then what the competition stage needs is two different things. So I think that's a huge thing I wish that people would get a grasp on, is there is a line where this becomes not, quote, healthy.
Yeah, I think so. Like, dude, if we look at the general populace, like the general populace of someone who's drinking 3 or 4 times a week, they're eating McDonald's, they're taking antidepressants and so on and so forth, I would very quickly argue that in most cases, we are healthier than that. There are extremes in anything, right? But like generally speaking, that's what I was telling one of my athletes when they went to get their blood work done. I'm like, you got to think about what is normally walking into the doctor's office to get their blood work done.
Yeah.
Right. It's the average American. The obesity rate is through the fucking roof. Us, our bodybuilders, our fat off seasons are still leaner than the general populace that exists in the day and age, right? It's like, dude, if you take a fucking multivitamin, you're technically healthier than most people out there at that point, right? I think the last one, and it's maybe not necessarily pertaining to bodybuilding specifically, but just the industry or just fitness as a whole, is like people's misunderstanding or misperception of TRT and HRT, especially towards women. Like, ladies, like, you need testosterone. You don't need an excess of it, but we'll have those conversations with athletes. They're like, well, I don't want to get on HRT. And I'm like, birth control is a shitty format of HRT.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually what your body's requiring, right? And like when I say that, like obviously your body, your choice, if you choose that contraception, like by all means, like that's not for me to decide as a man, but just saying from like the hormonal profile argument, HRT, they are the same technically. One is just far more detrimental in a lot of cases, right? Like as dudes, we have it so much fucking easier than you ladies. I am so fucking sorry. Like birth control is terrible for you in most cases. It's not done correctly. So I'd say just like the perception of HRT or TRT or any of those formats, if it's monitored by medical guidance, it's technically healthy at that point.
Yeah, I would say another one would be that like bodybuilding is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I wish people would understand that. A lot of times, like just because you want to do it and just because you can work out and eat your food does not mean that this sport is like meant for you. From like, just because I can go dribble a basketball doesn't mean I can go, join UAB's basketball team. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the same. And, unfortunately, like fortunately, we're given a position to coach people, and but at the end of the day, I tell people like I'm not Make a Wish Foundation. Like there's a limiting factors that come to play, whether it be your genetics, whether it be tolerance to drugs, or just your perception if you even want to take drugs, or if there's a lot that goes into it that like some people just have it and some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the biggest thing is oftentimes when you're working with novice athletes or first timers, and you just kind of know they don't have it, but they're like, why don't I have it? And it's like, well, I don't know. Like you're just not it. Like it's nothing you're doing wrong, just your genetics and your, sometimes it's work ethic, sometimes it's like just commitment and dedication. Because on the flip side, you have some genetically superior people who don't lock in and can't get it right, and they aren't really that good either. So I just think I wish everyone would understand that bodybuilding is not meant to be an all-inclusive sport.
Yeah.
The sport itself just tailors it to where it tries to fit as much people into it as it possibly can.
Yeah. But I think the other thing to add with that is like people's lack of patience in this. You know what I mean? Like I'll use Carly Lewis, AJ Welch, and Levi Murray as my three examples of athletes who, when they came to me, I did not know how far they were able to go. I posted a lot of their before pictures. I didn't know that, and they would ask me like, "What do you think I can do?" And I'm like, "I'm not sure yet, but give me some time to figure it out." And I've had each of them for 2 years now, and they've all and very much surpassed what I thought was even possible. And I feel like now we're just scratching the surface. But all of them have been with me for 2 years. They all started lifting well before that, and they've just done what I fucking asked them to do for 2 years straight. Like we tell people all the time, like we're both very good at what we do. I can pull off some fucking magic tricks in like 6 months. I've done it before. Daniel, I think, is a great example of that. That being said, I tell all my people up front, because I never want to mismanage expectations. Until you've given me a year and a half of like legitimate effort, I don't know what you can do.
100%. Yeah. I would have never guessed Tyler Neely would be what he is today when I first met him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like saying, I go down the list, like everyone I work with. And so, yeah, you're exactly right. Like sometimes it does just take time. I remember my bodybuilding coach told me my last show was I was 28. It was the best I ever looked. He said, yeah, man, you're just going to be one of those guys that like you just needed more time to mature and get better and hold a better body composition. And you'll probably be really good in your 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no, trust me, like I tried to be really good in my 20s. And, so yeah, I think it's just a patience thing. And that's why people look at me now are like, what are you getting ready for? I'm like, nothing. I just took the time. I've been doing this for, 12 years now. That's just, yeah, that you hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah. It's again, like and using myself as an example, I was a morbidly obese 15-year-old when I got in the gym. And then at 17, I was a bulimic 160-pound kid, and so on and so forth. And I never thought I could even get on a stage. And I've just done this for like, dude, coming up on 13 years, like almost half of my lifetime, I've committed to just training and eating and whatever else. And some people come up to me like, dude, you're so fucking big. And I'm like, which obviously means the world to me. Like I told you, I was like, man, there's a lot of huge accusations being thrown around here. It's a little fucking weird. But like, I would kind of hope at this point I was kind of big. Like, it's fucking wild, dude. Like, I think people just don't. We always see these like one-hit wonders, these young prodigies, these different people on social media, and then people are like, well, I mean, I still do it, man. Like the fucking guy we were talking about last or 2 episodes ago, the 28-year-old. I don't look like him at 27, almost 28.
Yeah.
That doesn't change anything for fucking me. I don't care. Like, but we get this like moment of impatience. We're like, well, they did it. I'm like, well, you also don't know what they did to get there.
Dude, yeah, my client Hannah posted it was like a beginning of the year, and then now in like 8 months, and I don't remember the stats exactly because she just put it on a story, but basically like she's the same weight or like within a pound or two of each other, but her glutes are like 3 inches bigger now, and her waist is down 2 inches now. Like that's amazing. Like that's really good. And so but you could take that, and another girl may could like be down in weight and have bigger gluten or and smaller waist at the same rate. But then you may have someone who has to work 2 years for that. And it's like it's just relative to what your body can do. But I think too, like I don't know if a lot of people would look at that and be like, wow, like she took 2 inches off of her waist and added 3 inches to her butt. Like that's amazing. Like she's really shaping her body differently. And that just takes time. And I remember moments like going through the check-ins is like some days it's like frustrated. Some days it's like, oh gosh, like this is never gonna end. And then other days like I'm killing it. I love it. And like so if you were to look at it week by week, it's like, gosh, like is this ever going anywhere? And then but when you look at the big picture, it's like, wow, this is really good. And I just think people need more realistic goals rather than like, bro, I got to put on 15 pounds. Like, yeah, like there's a lot more to that.
Yeah. And if you look at, like, I have a client like that, Soraya. She's a fucking dog who just started with me. And, in her last check-in, I was like, dude, your tie-ins are coming in crazy. And she's like, really? And I was like, let's go and find your first picture with me to now. And it's been 2.5 months. And I explained to her, I was like, one, like, your waist has come down. Your glutes have grown. You're now eating 400 grams of carbs. Like we're doing far more we're ahead at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because like we get so caught up in the everyday because we look at ourselves every single day, all of the time. The goal that I gave Daniel when I sent him his side by side was like, man, I'm kind of embarrassed about how I used to look. And I was like, good. Because that means that you have ran fucking circles around that. And that's how it should always be. If you can look back every 6, 12, 18 months at what you thought was your best and go, that's it, then you will go further, right? It's the second you look at yourself and you go, all right, that's pretty good. And like you find that complacency in it that you're not going to find anything else out of this.
Dude, 100%. Yeah.
What can clients do to make your life easier as a coach?
Well, I mean, just what we were just talking about, be patient. Patience is the number one thing. Like, I've had a few new signups this week, and I was just like talking to them and like, hey, look, like, it may take some time for me to figure your body out, but like, I'm going to give you everything I got. And like, even if something's tricky, if I get stuck on something, like my effort's going to be there and it'll drive me insane till I figure it out. And I think just understanding that I'm giving them everything they're giving me, and patience being a big one, and then communication. Communication is very big, regardless of anything. Like whatever it is, I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of coaches don't do is they just don't listen.
Mhm.
And sometimes like a simple check-in like problem can be solved just by listening to what else is going on in their life, and it'll probably make sense. Like a lot of times during like check-ins, when we're not deep in a prep, is if there's a lot of life going on, whether it be work, relationship, school, family, or whatever stress is going on, if I see that's really high, a lot of times like, hey, yeah, let's just keep things the same this week. I don't want to, make any drastic changes because I already know that that's affecting the body to begin with.
Mhm.
And so just like, it's not that I don't want to change anything. It's just like, let's just get a realistic look at it next week. So
Yeah.
I think communicating with us and trusting in us.
Mhm. I think that's really it, man. I think you hit on the head. Like, um, I think and there's a process to it, right? I think everybody, whether you've had a coach before, you've never had a coach, like there's a great, there has to be some amount of a grace period. Like I give a grace period to all of my people, and like having some in return is always nice. It's refreshing in the sense, like we've talked about it, where like I have a client who just started with me. He's in Turkey. I wrote him his plan. He told me in his Q&A form that he knows he needs more fruits and vegetables in his diet. So I programmed in some stuff, put in some fruit, put in some vegetables. We got on our call and he was like, hey man, like, can we swap out strawberries for something else? Because they're incredibly expensive here, like 4 times the price. And I was
Mhm.
like, shit, man, I wouldn't have known that. I don't know the economic climate of Turkey. Let's go ahead and change that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and he brought up, he's like, I don't want to bother you. I was like, this isn't bothering me. This is like what this is for
Mhm.
is I'm taking an educated guess with everything that I do. And when you check in with me, how your body looks is one marker of whether it worked or not. And what you tell me is the other marker. And
Yeah.
that's what I come up with. And I always say, like, this is a collaborative process and how I go about working with my athletes. There are times when it's like you're 2 weeks out and you're hungry. I'm like, well, I've been there. That's hard. I can't really help you yet. It'll be worth it. But then there's other things. Hey, coach, like whenever I eat, like an athlete, I had a call with one of my guys to start with me too. His name's Gavin, great dude. Same thing. He was like, hey man, like I explained to him the same thing. Hey, if you find that you have a digestive issue, if you're able to pinpoint a trend, let me know. And he goes, yeah, I've actually noticed meal 3. I always get a little bit gassy after that. And I looked at meal 3 and I was like, it's avocado. That's what it's got to be. I was like, let's pull this. Let's try it out and see how it goes. Shoot me a text tomorrow. No issues today with meal 3. I was like, boom. Now we know avocado is the issue. Took
Yeah.
no time out of my day to fix that for you, right?
Yeah.
I think it's learning the amount of feedback to give and the relevancy of it in a certain sense. Like all things are important, but when I get a 9-minute voice memo and I only need the last 45 seconds of it to actually get to the culprit, maybe
Mhm.
we should it's like 3 minutes,
Yeah.
But in the same sense of I don't want one-word answers either.
Yeah. It's finding the happy median.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have clients that send voice notes and I just tell them, hey, you're going to yap. Cool. But I need you to sum it up at the end. Like I need you to bullet point it and bring it all back together.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do find clients need that outlet.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you do have to do math. And if like every client sends us a 10-minute video, then that's like a long that's long, right?
Absolutely.
So it's about efficiency.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's like when we were talking about training footage at the show. If you send me if you send me all of your training footage for the week at once, but I've already asked you not to, that's already going to be a thing because the cueing I give you then for all of that, so much to absorb, but then also to remember to put in practice for the following sessions. That's why I like it to be in the moment. And especially if you send the footage and it's uncropped so that I have to like watch you like set your phone up and walk over to the machine and get your wrist straps on and hit your smelling salts and do your set. While in that moment it doesn't matter necessarily, but when you send me 10 of those, it's an extra 15 minutes that I'm scrolling through. And then I have X amount of clients also doing that. We did the math, dude. It's like 60 hours is
Yeah.
what it turns out to. Right.
Yeah.
And so while it might seem like very nitpicky that I make these particular requests, it's ordered to ensure that I can get you your answers as fast as I can in a productive manner. And I can make sure everybody else gets theirs in a productive manner, which allows me to get yours in a productive manner. It's like everybody's helping everybody by just keeping it very streamlined in that process.
Yeah. It's just I think, yeah, keeping us efficient and then in turn keeps you efficient. And that way, like, we're not having to go back and forth all day. And then 48 hours passes, and then I can finally input a change. It's like, hey, like, let's just, but yeah, and it's not that we're rushing check-ins or not spending time on it. It's just being efficient.
Absolutely. Setting macros, protein to body weight. What are your thoughts? Because I know this is always such a hot topic these days.
Yeah, I think, it's like if you want to get technical about it and you start doing it like the kilogram to lean body mass, and like, you can't really go by standards of what like the World Health Organization recommends or the dietary requirements, because it's like 20% of your daily intake is protein. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
I think like if a relatively lean person is like 1 to 1.2 to 1.5 grams of body fat, grams of body weight, of protein per pound of body weight. You know what I'm trying to say? That's kind of where it should be. You can push people up to 1.7, 1.8. I don't see the need to go to 2. Like, if Chris is 240, I'm not going to put him at 480 protein.
No.
But I may put him at 320.
Mm-hmm.
They put him at 350.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it does get to a point where it's not like, I think the 1.5, 1.7 is kind of the max. Just because, like, in turn, let's say you have someone who's like really high body fat. You wouldn't take their baseline body weight. You'd probably take like an estimated lean body mass.
Yeah.
And then like, apply that.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
I agree, man. Like I think 1.5 generally is a sweet spot. I've done diets where I've tried like the 0.7, 0.8. I get fat. I've done ultra high protein as well. Didn't do well for digestion, meaning like two grams per pound of body weight. I tend to find that 1.2, 1.5, 1.7 is a sweet spot. Generally, I'll start in that 1.2, 1.5 position, depending on like the athlete's hunger cues and what they tell me in their responses. Using Daniel as an example, like he's 200 pounds. I had him at like 325 grams of protein towards the end, because as we were getting deeper in prep and hunger cues were continuing to elevate, I was just pulling carbs down and pushing protein up in relation to itself.
Yeah.
But then off season, we're going to, because the dude can tolerate so much food to grow, we're going to move protein back down to probably a 1.3 and then start titrating carbs back up. I think that comes with experience and understanding, because, I helped this was, 4 years ago now, I helped Drew Yanilla helped him lose 175 pounds in like 13 months. He was 385 when he came to me, and he'd never been used to eating like more than a couple times a day. I'm not going to put him on 400 grams of fucking protein and expect him not to fail. Right. Yeah. I started him at like 100 and I started him at 120 grams of protein a day, just to get in the habit of 4 meals of 30 grams of protein. And then we gradually titrated up. I think he got up to like 200 grams of protein maximum.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So like for people who don't know, like there was this thing called Weight Watchers back in the day. There was like a point system on food. And like once you're out of points for the day, you're just out of points. You don't get any more food. But chicken breast was like 0 points. And so it's like, well, why is that? Well, like most people on a weight loss diet are not going to overeat chicken. There's a higher satiety rate. There's like curbs appetite. There's higher thermic effect of food. So if they are going to overeat, we would much rather it be these freebie, high protein, low fat, low carb options. To like, I would much rather someone's needing to lose weight eat 2 extra chicken breasts a day than anything else. Like Absolutely. It's just kind of where you're at. So it's all relative, because like sometimes you do have people who are like they're just hungry. They're just freaking hungry. And sometimes you have to put protein higher, because it's like, man, we don't really have much body composition to play with. We're not really regulating carbs as good as we need to be. Like, yeah, it's just protein just needs to go up to help satisfy this while I get other things, moving where I need them to move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if you have somebody who's like in the PCOS, endometriosis, pre-diabetic, any of those realms. It's like we're going to have to completely alter how we would go about formatting a plan because our body doesn't have all the tools it needs to regulate carbohydrates.
Yeah.
So it's like if I put these in, if I look at it in the same lens as a bodybuilder, I'm just setting you up to not lose weight and to inevitably become more insulin resistant. So yeah, we might have to do, especially if you have somebody who's like more sedentary, let's say PCOS as an example, they're probably going to have a higher protein count because we aren't in a position where we need carbohydrates, but I need you to not be in agony all day because I'm also human. If I'm starving all fucking day, I'm liable to go find something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And so people's like counter argument is like, oh, what about like gluconeogenesis and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, you're not dying on an island. Like your body's not like the amount of protein your body would need to intake to start breaking down protein into glucose for like needs. Like, yes, I mean you would have to eat an excess of protein calories for sure. I just don't think you're going to be reaching that. Um, I had a cardiologist. He's this fat cardiologist. Was when I worked at I worked at a supplement shop. He was buying, he's wanting to lose weight, and I was like, oh, well, have you ever tried just a lean whey isolate? Just as like a meal, meal replacement, just a snack option. Keep metabolism moving. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm worried about turning that into glucose. And I was like, well, you're kind of fat, so like, in my head, but he's a cardiologist, so like, who am I? Like a little GNC boy.
Yeah.
But like I have abs and you don't. So like, well, you should probably listen to me. Yeah, that's just, I don't know, man. That's kind of like the backwards, like kind of pushback we would get. But it's like you don't really understand like the biology perspective of that.
Well, it's like, dude, it's like we're trying to look at a painting and we're looking at one finite detail instead of the fucking broad strokes here.
Yeah.
It's like it's too much minutia at that point. Yeah, I'd say 1.5, right? Like, and again, that's where a lot of times we're trying to get somebody to. Doesn't mean we're going to just start you there. If you when you fill out your questionnaire form and you tell me you're eating 3 meals a day and it's 80 grams of protein, I need you at 200. I'm not going to throw you to 200. I'm going to throw you to like 120, 140 and get used to that and then gradually titrate up until we inevitably end up where we need to be. How do you grow bigger lats or a wide back?
Dude, you take this away.
So I'm pretty good at this. I think my upbringing of a lot of labor, I think that's what's helped me a lot. And also just having really wide collarbones. Also, and I tell people this all the time, again, when I got into gym, I was really fat. Like I was very fat. And I was super big into like power lifters like Dan Green and God, I can't even think of all the other guys, Pete Rubish, all these dudes who were just big. And I was like, well, if I can just get like a big enough back, maybe you won't notice my gut quite as much. And I also just love training back so much. It was just such a fun day for me. And then obviously I lost the fat and I have a small waist. Now it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. It just all worked out the way it needed to. But I do like the same workouts. I've been doing the same workouts every fucking week for years now. And it's one, use lifting straps. They do help. I do cable pullovers with the Vulcan stirrup attachment to pull my forearm out of it. Single arm lat pull downs, single arm cable rows, chest supported T-bar rows. I do like rack deadlifts, even though some people don't, but my back is bigger than yours, so I don't give a fuck.
John, I hope John listens to this.
John
hates rack deads.
John, forgive me, please. It works for me because I pull with a really high hip position. I can't justify more than he's going to get me. Dude, I like them. They also make me feel good. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to justify this before he comes after me. And like neutral grip lat pull downs. Those are the movements that I've found work best for me. I train to failure, but also train with an incredibly controlled cadence. I think in most cases, like I've learned how to body the eccentric out of any movement and back training. That's it. Like I don't just get strong. I just get stronger and better. But like, I also, the other thing I was thinking about, because John had made the post about progressive overload or linear progression, like, also haven't hit like a PR on back training, and I don't know when. I've just learned how to like, still using a weight that's very heavy for me. I've learned how to continue to perfect execution throughout that.
Mhm.
So I look at a lot of my training around those parameters a lot more than just looking at load and rep range progression, because as we know, I get injured pretty fucking often when I think I'm too strong.
Yeah, and you probably just get more like actual tissue recruitment like
Mhm.
during those movements now because your back is bigger. That's why we see like open pros, they don't have to like we'll have guys lifting heavier than John does. And it's
Mhm.
like that doesn't make sense. And
Mhm.
they're doing it with good form. But like John will exhaust himself because he has more muscle tissue and more like recruiting more fibers that he just gets more stimulus out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a very good point. My only additive to that was I used to start. I had a very good back double. I used to start every workout with 50 pull-ups, and it would usually be on this the assisted pull-up machine. Uh,
Mhm.
and I'm talking like full, like open scap, closed scap, like very full range. And I would try to do it in as few sets as possible.
Mhm.
Um, but that's like, yeah, like 50 pull-ups at the start of each session. I love pull-ups for that.
Mhm.
And then I've started realizing that rowing was what builds a back a lot
Mhm.
more than wide grip pull down for wide lats, and like that was the move. And then the original back workout that we probably all did, I can call it right now. It
Mhm.
was wide grip pull downs,
Mhm.
bar seated cable row, single arm dumbbell row, and then a cable pull over. And
Yep.
probably was, yeah, probably about what we all did because that's what Ronnie fucking Coleman
Yep.
did. That's
Dude,
what
it like,
Branch Warren did.
I can tell you that I have never gotten anything out of a wide grip pull down in my entire life. Truthfully, dude, I don't know. Other than when we do the variation you showed me on pull downs, I don't use a straight bar on pull downs. I'm everything I do is either neutral or slightly supinated. In all cases, I find I get way more out of that. Um, I just do a lot of unilateral work. I was just same thing. I start with my stronger side that I connect better with. I move over my weaker side. I match the reps there. That's how I kind of fix a lot of those muscular imbalances in my lats. That's it. I just hang on. Like the goal that I've always told people is like I hang on to a weight until it can't move. It's like if I'm doing chest supported T-bar rows, I'm taking it until one I'm fully opening and closing my scap. Like I'm trying to bring the bar to the ground every set. Um, and I'll take partials, I'll take Kelso shrugs, I'll take whatever. Like I just try to milk everything out of my back through every single step that I do. So everything generally is taken to like a controlled partial. I think how I grew my back the most, though, like some of the most progress was 2018. And it's because I had a lunatic of a training partner. Dude, everything we did was like 2 to 3 working sets to failure plus 3 assisted reps. Everything was a partner assisted rep at the
Yeah.
very end, no matter what. Just try to like continue to break that threshold.
Training partners are crucial, man. That's when I would just blast through plateaus and like you just find another level that
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know you had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember my first time squatting 405, training partner. First time squatting 315, training partner.
Mm-hmm.
Like just that little like any of my PRs, man, was always training partners were in the room. Um, oh, I miss those days.
Dude, I think training partners are worth more than anything else in the sport. Like if you find a good one, it can change everything for you. Like I would, granted, if we trained together every day, we'd both die. But
For sure.
for sure, yeah, that would, yeah. So maybe not all the time, but like having like you and Austin Colvin, dude, I guarantee I could level up another 20 pounds as a bodybuilder in no time at all.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, man. I remember when Ty came down, I was like, God, dude, I wish you lived here. Like,
Hmm.
I wish you lived here.
Yeah, that dude's a mother. I miss you, Ty. I love you so much. Um, I think that's, you got anything else? I mean, we got Iron City. I've got Iron City this weekend.
Yeah.
I got my 2 rolling there, so I'll be heading down tomorrow. And then we have nationals in December for that week. I think it's everything. Are you because you got Candace rolling. Obviously, she's going to kill it. But you have anything else here?
I've got 2 first timers doing Baton Rouge next weekend.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And then my fit model girl over in Italy is their like nationals this weekend. So giving it one more go before we pull her and start growing her glutes. But yeah, it's tapering off. And then Candace finishing the big dance in December. Then I've got a while. I've got like April or May is like the first show. I have a couple here and there, like May to June, but then a lot of the big ones are like that September through this time next year is kind of where I'm staggering it.
Yeah, I've got one rolling in March, and then it's wide open for the rest of the spring and summer and into the fall. I've got I'm very, very excited for next season with what I've got mapped out, man. But I would tell everybody who's listening, if you are wanting to compete next year, sign up yesterday. You're about 3 months behind schedule. The sooner, the fucking better. Whether it's us or any of the other coaches on the team, please do that immediately. We thank everybody for listening. Again, thank you to everybody who came up and talked to us at the show. It means the world to us. If you can, leave us a 5-star review if you're listening on Spotify. Share with a friend. Share on Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Please use our code J3U with Axe and Sledge. Directly support us. And until next time, thank you for listening to J3U After Hours.